Hello, students. This is our lesson on clauses and sentences. Be sure and have your handout that looks like the one on the screen in front of you, and we're going to go over it together. First of all, clause is a word group that contains a verb and its subject and that is used as a sentence or a part of a sentence. Every clause contains a subject and a verb. However, not all clauses express a complete thought. If the clause expresses a complete thought, it is known as an independent clause. If the clause does not, does not express a complete thought, it is known as a subordinate or dependent clause. A dependent or subordinate clause has certain clue words. For example, if, since, when, although, because, and while. That's a short list, okay? So what I want you to do is you're going to indicate whether the following clauses are independent or subordinate. Basically, you need to ask yourself, does that make sense all on its own, or does it need more information? If it doesn't need more information and doesn't start with a dependent, then it will be an independent clause. It can hang out by itself, makes complete sense all on its own. If it doesn't make sense on its own, then it's a subordinate or dependent clause. So let's look at our first one. Number one, because I have lived in Chile and Ecuador. That doesn't, what about that? Because what? So this is going to be a subordinate clause. Okay? Just like that. Number two, his writing has improved. All right? His writing has improved by itself, so that is going to be an independent. All right? So go ahead and take a look at number three. Although Goulet is still spoken in South Carolina's Sea Islands. Although, let's see, that looks like it's, oh, look, right up here. It's one of our dependent clause words. So therefore, this has to be a subordinate clause. Like that, okay? Number four, when that baseball team won the National League pennant, it's missing some information there because that doesn't make sense. What happened when they did that? It doesn't tell us. Therefore, it is also a subordinate. And number five, everyone laughed. Everyone laughed. All right, it doesn't start with a dependent or subordinate clause clue word. It tells us who did it, what they did. Therefore, it is independent. There you go. Okay, so be sure and use this information to help you as you do the next activity, because that is just to introduce the idea that is the focus for this lesson, and that's the different types of sentences. I don't know if you knew that there are different types of sentences, but there are 4 different types of sentences. The first type is a simple sentence. This is a sentence that has only one clause, and it can stand on its own. So for example, Joe ran from the Newfoundland monster. All right, no questions there. We know what Joe did. We know who he's running from. Got it. Okay, just one idea expressed right there. Now, a compound sentence is a sentence with 2 or more clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. Here's our example. Joe ran from the Newfoundland monster so he could live to see another day. Well, here is our first complete thought. Joe ran from the Newfoundland monster. It's a complete thought. Then here's another complete thought. He could live to see another day. It's joined by a coordinating conjunction. And these are our coordinating conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Okay, so 2 complete independent thoughts joined together is called a compound sentence. A complex sentence is 2 or more clauses joined with a coordinating conjunction. So, for example, And this has a subordinating conjunction. So for example, Joe ran from the Newful monster, although he wanted to turn and fight. Ah. So here's our first thought. Joe ran from the Newful monster. That is a complete clause. That stands on its own. And then here's our other one. He wanted to turn and fight. However, this one has a box around it. So although is a subordinating conjunction. And here's a huge old list of subordinating conjunctions right down here. All right, so far we have simple, compound, complex, and then we put that compound and complex together, and we have what's called a compound complex. This is 3 or more clauses joined by coordinating and subordinating conjunctions. So this means it has both coordinating and subordinating conjunctions. So here's our example. Joe ran from the Newful monster so he could live to see another day, although he wanted to turn and fight. All right, well, here's one clause. Here's another clause. And these are joined with a what type? Coordinating conjunction. Very good. Then we have another clause hanging out over here. And this one is joined by what type of word? Coordinating conjunction word. Okay, so what you want to do, when I've done this in the past with my students, I've really had them take a look at this list of words here, these coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. Because your first project here is that you're going to underline the independent clauses and write the sentence type on the line. Before we do that, though, I want to talk to you. I want to give you a little different idea on those coordinating conjunctions. And it's what I call fanboys. And I'm bringing it up here. It's this purple box. Now, fanboys, okay, just a way to spell out your coordinating conjunctions. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. You see how the first letters of each of these words put together becomes fanboys? Okay, if it's a fanboy, it's a coordinating conjunction, and it's being used to combine 2 sentences together, 2 clauses together. All right, now this is one of those reasons why if you start a sentence with and or but, you get in trouble. Like I'm always telling you guys, get your butt out of the front of your sentence. No, okay. You do not want to start sentences with coordinating conjunctions because coordinating conjunctions are joining things together. If you start a sentence with and or but or so, you're leaving off part of the sentence. You're leaving off the front part of the sentence. So keeping that in mind, and you can just take a moment right now if you want and jot that down in the margin, just so you can see it, though they are listed right here for you. They're just not in the list that you can see the fanboy. All right. Going to underline the independent clauses and write the sentence type on the lines. So when we do that, we're going to go back up here. So if it's a simple sentence, we write S. If it's a compound sentence, CD. Complex sentence, CX. Compound complex sentence, CD, CX. By the way, if this feels hard and confusing right now, that's good. That means you're learning because it is a hard concept to get, but once you get it, you have it. Okay, it's like dribbling a basketball. At first, you're like, no idea how to do that. And then all of a sudden, you figure it out. So you'll get this. Number 1, when I get home from school, I'm going to take a nap. Okay, so we're looking for independent clauses. Let's see, when I get home from school is not an independent clause because it starts with a subordinate word. Right up here, there it is, when. So we only have one independent clause. I'm going to take a nap. Therefore, since we have an independent clause and a dependent clause or subordinating clause, that is a CX. See how that works? Okay, let's do another one. Number 2, I got in trouble, so I can't go to the party. Oh, bummer. All right, I got in trouble is one clause. I can't go to the party is another clause. It would have been fun is another clause. And we have 3. So we have 3 clauses here. We've got, let's see, so is a fanboy, for, yet, nor, so. So that's a coordinating conjunction. Now take a look at but. Yeah, I just said that. But, And that is also a coordinating conjunction. So therefore, we have only coordinating conjunctions here. Looking at our list, 2 or more clauses. So this is a compound sentence. So we put CD right there. CD. Got it? Okay. Now, number 3, being alone can be scary unless you keep yourself busy. So this one, we have one independent clause, being alone can be scary. And then we have a dependent or subordinating. I like to call it dependent because it's a little clearer. This does not make sense without that. It depends on this first part of the sentence to make any sense. So, unless you keep yourself busy. Unless is one of our subordinating conjunctions looking at the list. So we have a subordinating conjunction and an independent clause. So that is a complex sentence. See, looking right here. Subordinating conjunction. All right, so then we put right here where I forgot to draw in the line for you, CX. Okay. Okay, now go ahead and do number 4. Go ahead and try that on your own. Okay, so we've underlined Mrs. Mangrum and taught me sentence structure. That is one thought there. Mrs. Mangrum taught me sentence structure. Then we have this part that's got these commas, the best teacher in the world. Okay, Well, we don't have any coordinating conjunctions. We don't have any subordinating conjunctions. Therefore, this part right here, the best teacher in the world, is not a clause. Okay? Doesn't, who did it? Best teacher in the what? What did they do? Nothing. This is what's called an appositive phrase. Tricky, huh? So this is actually a simple sentence. And it just has an appositive phrase, which I'll teach you guys later, in the middle. So watch out for those. Okay, so notice that you are going to want to really use this coordinating and subordinating conjunctions list to help you. Use the ones that we've done together to also guide you. But I want you to do 6 through 12. Underline the independent clauses, ones that can stand alone and do not have anything depending on them. Okay? They don't have any conjunctions or any subordinating conjunctions. They can have coordinating. And then what I want you to do is I want you to write a simple sentence, a compound sentence, a complex sentence, and a complex compound sentence. Once you finish up with that, you can do silent reading until we move on to our next activity.